Karl.
Let's go to the election campaign now, and Treasurer Josh Frydenberg joins us. Treasurer, good morning to you. Thanks for your time this morning. Lots to discuss if we can crack on. A report this morning, a US envoy won't rule out military action against the Solomon Islands if China establishes a defence base there. Is that true? I mean, it's quite the missile across their bow.
Well, obviously, I'd leave it to the Americans to put more detail behind that statement, but what I can say is there is deep concern, not only here in Australia, but amongst our allies, the most important of which is the United States, about this closer relationship between the Solomon Islands and China. It's something that didn't seem to worry Richard Marles when he made that speech in China and provided a copy to the Chinese embassy before it, but it does concern us, and that is why we'll continue to engage with the Solomons, but also more broadly the Pacific family.
Okay, a spokesperson for Xi Jinping late last night said there's no way they're building a base. Do you believe them?
I think that they do want to build closer strategic and security ties, and that's what's of concern to us. As to how it would develop over the future is yet to be known, but the fact that the Solomon Islands and China have entered into this agreement is not a positive development, and it does create a more unstable region.
Okay, let's talk about the war inside your own party now, the coalition. Matt Canavan yesterday just lighting everything up like a Christmas tree. Net zero is dead. That must be music to your ears.
Well, net zero is a commitment by the coalition that is clear, that is firm, and that is non-negotiable. This is not breaking news from Matt Canavan, this is old news. He's held that position for some time, but it's not the position of his party, it's not the position of my party, and it's not the position of the coalition. What we are doing is meeting our commitments under the Paris Agreement to reduce emissions by 26 to 28% by 2030 on the levels they were in 2005. Right now, Australia's emissions are down by 20%. In New Zealand, they are down by just 4%, in Canada by just 1%, and we have a technology investment roadmap, Karl, where we're putting more than $20 billion of taxpayers' money into new investments in technology and renewables so that we can meet that target.
It's pretty easy, though. If I'm going up against you in Kooyong, and I'm the Climate 200 candidate, Monique Wright, a vote for the coalition is a vote for Matt Canavan.
A vote for Monique Ryan is a vote for Anthony Albanese and the Labor Party. I'm up against a fake independent who's a former member of the Labor Party, something they sought to conceal. They have no plan to meet emissions reduction targets. They have no details. They have no costings. They're literally the vibe of the thing. They're just a slogan and a billboard. There's nothing behind it, whereas we've got that technology investment roadmap which has more than $20 billion of taxpayers' money put to work, leveraging more than $80 billion of the private sector's
but be honest
investment.
Be honest with me, Treasurer. I mean, when you're up against the Climate 200 candidate and she's tracking well, you're behind in the polls. This from Matt Canavan could not have come at a worse time for you.
Like I said, it's old news. He's held that position. What really matters is the position of the coalition, and both the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister reaffirmed that commitment just yesterday. So we are on track to meet and beat our emissions reduction targets. But if you vote for these fake independents, you're more likely to get a hung parliament and the chaos and the confusion that comes with that. And to be honest with you, Karl, you've seen that movie before. You saw it with Labor and the Greens and Oakeshott and Windsor, and it was chaos and confusion. And the first question you asked me today was about national security. Well, probably the next question you're going to ask me is about the economy. These are big issues.
But I can see you getting fired up, but I will beg to differ on one thing. I remember very clearly when the independents held the balance of power, and Rob Oakeshott, who was an independent, the streets of Port Macquarie were lined with gold.
Well, I can tell you they voted him out, so you know that didn't work out too well.
All right, you're going to debate. Monique Wright. Are you worried about your own seat deep down?
Well, a couple of things. I've accepted the 2 invitations to debate Monique Ryan. One is in a People's Forum from Sky and the other is from Channel 9 in the studio. She rejected the invitation from Channel 9 to debate me in front of Chris Ullman. I was happy to, no doubt, on a broad range of issues. Climate is one important issue. There are lots of other important issues at stake at the upcoming election. I don't take my seat for granted, Karl. I've been fortunate to be elected by the people of Kooyong 4 times. I'm from my electorate, I'm for my electorate, and I continue to work hard in my electorate. I don't take anything for granted, and the election will be close, and that's why people need to understand if you vote for a fake independent, the likelihood of a hung parliament and the chaos and confusion at a time when Australia needs stability and strength is more likely.
Should be an interesting debate between you and Monique Ryan a little bit later in the week. Good on you, Treasurer. Thanks for your time today. Appreciate it. Ali.